So now I'm going to start with weeding out this. This is the worst beds as you've been noticing. Here's the herb beds, and I put down this row of cardboard because I thought sitting on just a bare cardboard, dry cardboard like this, I'll be able to scoot along and do the weeding quite well. And then when I'm done, I'll cover it up in the Ramio wood chips. I will sit here and talk to the camera, and what I can fast forward, I will fast forward. Once again, being where I am, just throw the weeds back there on the grass and I'll rake them up afterwards. That'll be much faster. Now, there was more than one elk campaign here, so we'll see what we find now. Chives are really a bunch of little tiny bubblets like this, and they grow in a bigger and bigger clump, and then you get your 3 or 4 leaves off each one. Some of them will die out in the center, but they will keep going. Those will decompose and others will come up to take its place. So when you're weeding them, like seeds can still get down among them. They're so tight together that roots, like grass roots, don't normally grow in through them. But the seeds can get down among them. And so you can really push them apart like this to get those weeds out of there. And it's better to sit down and do your weeding and weed this out, because otherwise you'll come out here and you're wanting to harvest some chives, and every time you harvest a few chives you've got to pick weeds out of it, and that's just not ideal. Careful what I'm pulling up. So here's the elk campaign that I planted there, right in the deep shade. It is growing, not near as good as the ones down on in the other place, but clover is something that is better to get out sooner rather than later, because that root system, it's kind of really anchors itself. It's not really all that deep, but it can anchor itself in pretty good. Nice thing if you like dandelions, once again, if you grow them in fertile soil, you get the beautiful salad greens from them. Now, see, when you're pulling up your weeds, I mean, at a glance you might mistake a buttercup leaf, a young buttercup leaf, from the cilantro. Of course, when the buttercup gets up bigger, they look like this. And there's your cilantro, otherwise known as coriander. Now, I was surprised to see them growing there this year, but I was checking back in my videos, trying to find out when something else would had been planted, I think. Anyway, one of the tours in early July, 2022, I had been going through, and I showed you these little plants growing here. I said, I don't know what they are. I had planted cilantro here, and I don't know what cilantro looks like when it comes up. And this is right where they were at that time. Now, the internet says that cilantro is an annual. I don't remember these flowering. They will readily reseed just as much as chamomile will. But like I said, I don't remember them flowering, so we just have to keep looking at it this year and see if they do. Now you see this little dead stick here? I think that's a parsley, because parsley is related to carrots. And so that's why you get this root. See, here's a live one that I just accidentally pulled up. And there's the root on the parsley. Guess I'm gonna have to bring out a glove to get that bigger stinging nettle out. The cardboard put down on this side now, but as you can see, I'm gonna have to get my seat. I can't sit down in the paths. I made them too narrow. Going forward, any paths I make, I'm going to make them 3 feet. That woody material right there is the remains of that other herb that I planted there. It was a time, if my memory serves me correctly, at any rate, it didn't grow due to the fact that it's deep shade. As you can see, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon right now, and we're in 100% shade right here, right? So I'm going to have to find something else to plant here that will do well in deep shade. There's some plants here I wonder if it's not reseeded. No, it's not. You gotta wait for the flower to come up, I guess. leaves small, looks a lot like the Elecampane, but when the flower starts to come, that's what we got. Now I can put you out there, since I weeded that far. Stinging nettles right there. They're too big to take out with my bare hands. So I'll take that in and make a cup of tea out of it. Yep. Gimble's dying. This bed is a little more crowded out. And right here, we've got a challenge because I really didn't expect that lovage to grow so huge. Now I have the sage growing in here as well. Let's take. So you can break them just like you would a rhubarb, eh? Here's a thyme. It's just basic garden thyme, but still I want it. The other one is green lemon thyme. Now I like to have the basic garden thyme as it's a different flavor, right? It is, however, now being shaded out by the lovage there, and I had planted them side by side because it's a little bush. It's not like it's something that will spread and grow together, but the green lemon thyme was outgrowing this garden thyme, and I moved it down here. Then I planted a little tiny lovage plant over there, not knowing that tiny lovage plants grows into big huge lovage plants. Lamb sorrel. There's sheep laurel, but this is lamb sorrel, which is a sorrel and edible. If you want a garden salad and you want something with a lemony taste, any of the sorrels will have a lemony taste. Lamb sorrel and wood sorrel, on the other hand, they're wild and they grow like weeds. I've been thinking about getting the domesticated sorrel just because it has bigger leaves. Not that it would taste any better. Now, see, once again, I have this huge lovage and I have this space under here, which causes a lot of shade. I put this here not knowing that it would grow like this. If you're going to start lovage now, put it on the back side of your border so that it doesn't shade out other plants. But boy, that coming back lovely this year, this sage. And boy, does it smell beautiful. Kind of got to move things to the side, see, because down in among there, I got to get that sorrel, and there's a buttercup growing up there. Got to get that out of there, and of course, all that grass, right? Oh, that's what's supposed to be growing here. I was wondering what was supposed to be growing here. I got the name forgot. Licorice flavored thing. Anyway, I'll find it out and put it on the screen. That's some of it right there, so I have to be a little more careful now and see if I can find out how it's growing here. Oh yeah. Oh no. Not there. There it is right there, so hopefully it comes up, because I don't know if I've broken off any of it or it just wasn't growing. Oh, see there, the tops to last year's St. John's wort. But that land sorrel, it can put up some pretty tall top flower heads. Now, as you've seen down by the driveway, St. John's wort can spread fairly well, and so I have to keep it, pull anything that's rooting down in a straight line across here and keep it contained within its borders. It's easy to contain. It's just the ones that are spreading out, you pull them up and the roots are just right there, right? And so you just go down the border of where you want it to stop, and you just yank out everything that's outside that border. The challenge with your perennial beds is that, well, the perennials are established and they're kind of taking care of themselves, and you have so much work to do to keep your annually planted plants there. You got to baby them along, whereas you don't want these, so the weeding gets put on the back burner, and by the time the weeds are showing up through your plant, then you've got a mass of weeds to get rid of. And among this mess there somewhere, there should be 2 white echinacea. But there's a lot of grass there. That one's got some stalks there. I'm not seeing any remains or growth from the one that should be right here. I wonder if that's a couple of leaves from it there. Looking the worse for wear, but this is an echinacea. Oh, okay. I'll stop right there then. Now, as I said, because of the narrow pathway, I'm going to have to use my seat here. Now, as it gets this big, that sorrel can grow right underneath it. And getting ahead of there is a challenge in itself. It's not that bad though, because the sorrel is just growing underneath. So, once again, like I said, as far as aesthetics goes, it's not a problem. And the St. John's wort will outgrow sorrel easy enough. So it's just a matter of taking out enough so that it's not obvious that you've got a bunch of sorrel growing underneath. I'm going to gently do take those and bring them over here so they're not falling down into the garden bed. More lovage. You see, that's the other thing about the lovage. Keep harvesting underneath if you've only got the one plant and you're using it all. Because if you don't, the underneath ones you'll lose some to a fungus. It's got a fungus here on the leaves because it's just down underneath everything else. So you take the underneath ones and bring them in. This is a white lavender here. It's not growing the best in my opinion. Ooh, that's a big worm. But it is what it is. It is growing okay. It's just that the form is what I'm talking about. It's not setting that compact bush like the other two, the purple ones are doing. I can't say I don't feel a frustration when I get stung by stinging nettles. But once again, it's one of those things. It is what it is. Okay, so I'm going to call that cleaned out for now. I mean, it's not perfectly cleaned out, but for now, I'm going to take these that I pulled out, put them in the compost. I woke up yesterday, the Humidex was already above Newfie boiling point. A friend was passing by, and he always stops in when he's passing through the area. So by the time he left, the temperature had gotten way too hot. I said, I'm not working in that. This morning I wake up, Humidex, with Humidex included, it was only like 13 degrees. So it's actually just barely warm enough now to be working in a t-shirt. And what I'm doing, I've got those two beds weeded out, and I'm going to put the mulch around them in the pathways now, and then I'll show you the completed result. Hence, we're making a nest in the wood chip pile, and that is a cap that they were putting on top of their nest. They assumed to keep the rain out. Well, it looks like I have lovage growing, not lovage, coriander growing there. I put these in the house just to see what they're like when they come up. Since I had them, I figured I might as well harden them off and plant them out. Never checked to see what the distance I was supposed to plant them apart is, but it being coriander, I doubt it matters all that much. I mean, you put them about 5-6 inches apart, right? They'll grow here, but I don't think they'll grow in the deep shade, so I wouldn't plant them in that empty spot in the back end of this bed. Now we will definitely be able to watch coriander grow and see what it's like. Because while that looks like coriander, I can't get the smell off it. Anyway, we shall go forward with that. Now to take you in hand, got the pathways done around the herbs. We have Hell Campaign here. I thought there was a second plant, but I didn't find it when I was weeding. Of course, we have our 6 clumps of chives. What I am assuming is coriander, but we'll see. It looks like it's going to flower there now, so we'll see exactly what it is when it flowers. That's winter savory. That's an excellent herb. Let's see now. Of course, we have catnip that grew from seed here, and there's parsley that's growing from seed. So those plants there, they will go to seed this year. There's the 8 coriander I just planted, and an older catnip plant here. Those are just 2 purple lavender plants side by side there. Lovage, I have to record it because I don't think I recorded this either when it started to go to flower. See, the flower buds are on it, and in my opinion, in my thinking I should say, it's awful early for flower buds to be on lovage, but we shall see. Guess I'll have to dig up that garden thyme and move it once I find where to move it. Sage has such beautiful flowers comes out on it, and as you can see, it's growing just perfect there now. We have over there, that's a white lavender, another clump of chives, it's green lemon thyme, St. John's wort, and the echinacea wasn't growing all that well underneath all that other stuff that was covering it. And see, I broke it quite a bit, this one, because I couldn't see it in among the weeds, right? I'll be back out at some point and do another little poke around to get more weeds out and put mulch around them. But if I move back, here's what we got now of those two herb beds.